Welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast for all decision makers and action takers. Take it away, Esther.
And welcome back to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking imposter syndrome. What is it? Why do we get it? And how do we get rid of it?
So what is imposter syndrome? Well, quite simply, it is where you believe completely that what you're doing right now is what you shouldn't be doing right now. You're not the best person for it. You shouldn't be doing it. Everybody thinks you're going to be terrible at it, and they probably are saying that already. So it's the fear of other people's judgment that overwhelms you on a personal level.
I think it's also the self-doubt, right? So it's not just what other people think, it's what you think yourself.
Yeah.
And you're sort of thinking, I didn't go to university for this. I didn't study for this. I didn't take a course for this. I didn't learn everything that there is to know about this.
I don't have the experience.
I've never done this before. Or, if you're even if you're invited to speak on a stage, well, add in the stage fright, and bingo card is full. But there's a number of things that you need to realize, and that you are different from everyone else that there is. So you can't compare yourself to someone who's been in the industry for 20 more years than you.
Obviously not, no.
Right? And you can't compare yourself to someone who's just starting out in the industry. You can't also go the opposite way and sort of relay those fears into somebody else and go, well, who are you to be saying that? Because I feel it's a very British Irish thing to, doubt ourselves a lot, because we've been told from a very young age, don't be uppity, don't get ahead of yourself, don't stand out, don't do this, don't do that, especially when I was young, it was children should be seen and not heard, and that has always sort of stuck with me to go, okay, so I'm not the right person because I, in my head, have not grown up. There are more adulty adults in the room than me. So obviously, they're the ones that should be doing this. You're not looking at me. Yeah. That's the thing. It's the perception, right? So we can perceive that because someone has been on the planet for longer, that they know more. Or we can perceive that because...
We were raised that way, though, weren't we? To respect our elders.
We were. And this next generation definitely hasn't been. I can tell you that. But it's also, it's not just, bred into us. It's cultural influences as well, because you could be born anywhere in the world, but if the culture of the people that you hang around with is, now, don't be getting notions, as they say.
Don't be getting notions. That's the phrase, isn't it?
That sticks with you, and it doesn't matter what age the person is. It could be the same age as you, and saying, oh, here she's got notions. It always seems to be the women. I notice it more, that men don't seem to have imposter syndrome. They do.
They do, and I've met them. I've met them in my office, where they've said, I know what I want to do, but I don't. There's just too many things I need to put in place to do it, and I'm like, okay, so let's list them all out here. And they list them all out, and I said, you've got all that.
Yeah.
Why haven't you done it? It's like, no, it's not quite right yet. And so they display it in a different way, I feel.
Yes, their perfection has to come before. Yeah.
Oh, they definitely do get it too.
But I hear too, there's many statistics around this where women won't apply for a job unless they tick every single category, both essential and desired, on the list. Whereas a man will go, I've got 2 of those 7 that they're looking for, so I'm just going to apply. They have, I don't know whether it's confidence or just other things
BS.
that they have. Could be, that just makes them take that step whether
Mm.
it's, we're comfortable in our little box and we'll just do what we're told, sort of thing, because that comes down to the patriarchy as well. And
I think
you've
we're a
got,
bit more literal as well, though, because
we
as you
are.
say, um, we have to make sure that we've got all seven of these things. I think we're just a little bit more literal, whereas
Yes.
they're like, if I don't know how to do it, they'll either show me or I'll learn how to do it myself. And I'm like,
Yeah. Because it was
that just
definitely a
seems
man that came up
wrong
with,
on so many levels.
it was definitely, I think it was Richard Branson that said, say yes and then figure out how to do it later.
Yeah,
So it was definitely a man that came up with that one.
sounds right.
But one phrase that has always stuck with me is done is better than perfect.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting yourself out there, taking that first step. If you're asked to speak on a stage, maybe say yes and go and see a hypnotherapist to figure out the fears, or take speech, go
Superman
to,
pose,
yeah,
Wonder Woman pose,
Wonder
Superman.
Woman pose,
Yes.
or go to Toastmasters and
Mm,
build up the confidence, or ask, say, thank you for the invite, but could you put me in a panel first? Start
yeah.
small, but start. Okay. So everybody has felt imposter syndrome in one form or another at some stage of their business. And I think, now relating this back to marketing, I think we all feel it more when we're comparing ourselves to the other brands and services that we see online.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I could never go live. I could never,
Do
put myself
video.
out in video. I could never write like that. I could never. And we're starting off with all the negatives because we're filling our head with all the perfection that has taken 5, 10, 15 years to achieve.
Mm.
They didn't just start their business and automatically have 100,000 followers. Even Taylor Swift started with 0 followers.
Probably only for a
Even
couple
Coke.
of weeks, but
But I don't know how long she had been singing before she, made
yeah.
it, but she had a large team behind her to help her. If you're listening to this and you're a one-man band and you don't have thousands of people in your support team to show you what picture you need to post, or to post it for you, and to take your photographs for you, and take your videos, and take, all your products and make them for you and do everything for you, then you've got everything to do as well as all the marketing. So take a beat, take a breath, and just start.
And, I know we've been giving examples here of going on panels and speaking and that sort of stuff. But I do think it's just when you set up a business in the first place. Um, this is the first time I've ever run a business of my own. And I've been doing it 12 years now, but um, I was just as terrified as everybody else, thinking, my family need a regular income. How dare I think of
Who does
setting up
she
for
think
myself?
she
Yeah,
is?
and it was scary. But do you know what? Beyond Toastmasters, you have friends and family. You have, in every country that's listening to this, there will be state bodies or local partnerships or somebody who's out there that will help you build the confidence and the knowledge at the same time. And
Yes.
it's a case of just trying to think, where do you want to end up with this? Do you want to become a respected novelist? Do you want to become a well-known speaker? Do you want to be seen as a go-to entrepreneur in your niche? So whatever it is, just know that there are other people who have felt exactly the same way as you,
Yep.
but they've kind of just sucked it up and seen. And when I suppose maturity has taught me that, I'm hopefully not going to die from what I'm trying to do, and you know we've survived where we've got to so far. So there's no reason why we won't survive standing up and being part of a panel. You know, even speaking, it took me a year to do it, in fairness. So I do respect people's concerns, but just speaking up at a networking event and doing like a 10-minute presentation about your business, it took me a year to do that.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. And it's, and I was fine, and everybody was like, "Oh, that was brilliant," and nobody was
Yeah.
saying, "Well, you could have said," you
The
forgot to
world didn't
mention.
end. Yeah.
No, it was fine. And over time, you do get more confident, and you find that every single time you do it, you're your own worst critic, of course,
Of
but
course.
you, but you do find ways of conveying the information more confidently, more concisely, which is also another issue because you find yourself just rambling, and you just you stop getting in your own way. But I think even though we've been doing this a long time, we both speak for a living. This
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
we still get caught up. We still get tongue tied. We still get
Oh,
stuck.
absolutely.
You should hear the
Absolutely.
stuff we don't publish.
But that's all part of growing and learning and improving, because if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to grow. And you're not, if there is, and this is one of my biggest like bugbears with social media, is the trolls.
Oh yeah.
And the trolls are always going to be there. It's just you need to choose to ignore them.
Mm.
Okay. So you could be talking about something and there's one person fixating on that hair that's out of place, or the fact that your shirt's not ironed, or the fact that you've no makeup on, or the fact that, it has nothing to do with what you're actually telling them or the information,
No.
but they just feel that they need to have their voice heard as well. So it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. You
Yeah.
just need to compartmentalize that, put it off to one side, and ignore the trolls. Don't feed them. Don't let them win, because otherwise, the internet would be a very quiet place if people
And
let the trolls win.
I've done a pros and cons list myself when I've doubted myself. I've actually had somebody once tell me I'm a terrible trainer.
They
Yeah.
were lying.
Well, that was their interpretation, and maybe at that time I did a bad job. But sometimes we do stuff, or we try to do stuff that we thought we could do and we can't.
Yeah,
And if you find that you have limitations, which on that occasion I felt I did, do you know what I did about it? I fixed it. I went out and got a further qualification,
yeah,
further training, further, so it can't be everything to everybody, and you shouldn't
no,
try to be.
no,
And if you just learn from your mistakes,
yeah,
that's really all that we can hope for.
yeah,
The last thing I want to do when I'm rocking in my chair in my 80s, hopefully if I get there, is looking back with regret.
yeah. I, you know, like we said, everyone has gone through it, or everyone is, there are people going through it currently, or if you haven't yet, I really hope you don't. But Melanie and I have both been through it. If you need someone to listen to you, if you need to sit down with someone and write a pros and cons list and your abilities and your strengths and weaknesses, etc., reach out to us, because we, it's always easier getting an external viewpoint
Yeah.
on these things than looking in the mirror, because you are your own worst critic, as we said. Other people see things that you don't see or that you
Mhm.
can't see because you've been blinded by the who does she think she is? And look at her, she's got notions, or look at him, he's so uppity, all of these things that society has told us, that the country has told us, that our neighbours, even older family members have
Hmm.
told us we love them really.
But
But
see, it's not always jealousy either. It's just
no,
sheer. Sometimes it's just like, well, I wouldn't do it, so how could they do it? Because that's obviously a bad thing. Because I wouldn't do it. So don't uh, don't measure yourself by other people's limitations. Basically,
exactly. Exactly. And on that note, we will end the podcast. If you do need to reach out to somebody, do send us an email. Find us on all our social media channels. They're linked in the show notes, and you can find us anywhere online. And if we're not the right people to talk to, we probably can point you in the right direction. But don't suffer in silence. And until next week, bye bye.
I banged the microphone.
You banged the microphone.
I should stop waving, should I?
You really, or use the other hand that's further away
Oh
from the
yeah.
microphone.
Shut up.